This is a How Is He podcast with Podge and Poppa, proudly sponsored by Ampifi. Power up your podcast. Let's kick it off.
Welcome to episode 63 of the How Is He podcast, joined as always by my co-host, Podge Poppa, right here in Ampifi Studios in the heart of Carlow town. This week, Poppa's a bit of a different one. We're joined by Carlow GAA Royal D, the current captain and vice captain of the Carlow senior footballers, Mikey Bambrick and Conor Crowley. We are going to discuss all things inter-county football, from the ups, the downs, the ins and outs, what it takes to perform at the highest level, commitment, nutrition, how much to get paid, clothes brands,
massive
football
money.
deals, everything.
Look at the clothes they're wearing.
And this
Gucci
is,
over there.
This is a strange one, because although we'd be GAA fans, I wouldn't be very insightful, right? But anyway, we'll get into it. Thanks for coming on, lads.
Thanks for having us, lads.
How are you
Appreciate it.
keeping?
Good, yeah. Good,
This
yeah.
is like when The Simpsons meets Family Guy. You want a crossover episode? This shouldn't be happening. We just lost half our viewers. I'm only joking. No, look, we're delighted to have you in, and it's great to get you on, because it is a world that I think, from a player's perspective, at the level you play at, is something that needs to be out there, right? And so it needs to be understood. So you're in as a GA player, right? When does the thoughts of playing for your county at the highest level come into your minds?
Well, I know, for me anyway, I didn't really consider it that much. Like, you'd be involved with teams underage, maybe Carlow teams, but wouldn't be standing out or anything. So it wasn't something in my bingo card. Like, I love playing football, I love playing with Pal, and it's just kind of something that happened naturally for me anyway. But once you kind of get the taste of it, maybe at minor level, you do start thinking about it a bit more. And then obviously when the opportunity arises, it was definitely something I was interested in anyway.
Mikey?
Yeah, like, it's kind of the same. Like, I suppose when I was playing minor, I wasn't really getting much for looking at all. Like,
Why not?
No, like, I wasn't getting on. Well, I was on the team, but like, you weren't playing. It was only really kind of under 20s then you start getting a bit of game time and starting matches and stuff.
What makes you hang in there then? Like, what makes you hang in there? Because everyone wants to play, right? Is it the fact that it's inter-county, you're kind of saying, well, look, I'm this level, so, you know, what makes you hang in there?
Yeah, I don't know at that age. I think you're just in it and you stay in it.
That's it.
I don't think you really think too much about it.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's a bit of crack playing. Like, you don't really overthink it. Like, I would have played hurling as well. I would have played minor hurling, but no, you're in it and you stay in it.
It's like that Henry Shefflin one. You all heard that he was a sub-keeper on the Kilkenny Minors, wasn't he, in his first year minor or something ridiculous like that, and he goes on to be what he is. No, that's interesting. Like, because I'd say a lot of lads wouldn't have the mentality to kind of, well, I'm not starting minor here, I'm hardly going to start 20s. You know, the following year or whatever, I'm like, would they hang in there?
I think, like, it's probably similar to soccer. For me anyway, like, when you're that age, like, all your friends are playing it. Like, you're at home for the summer. Like, what else are you going to do? Rather, like, your mother and father, like, well, you're training Tuesday and Thursday with Pal, get out of the house.
Yeah.
It's probably the same as soccer as well.
Yeah.
They want you doing stuff, you know, to keep you on the straight and narrow, and it's a great way to make friends. And definitely, like, even thinking about it there, like, it wasn't something when I was like 15, no, I want to play with a Carlow or a county. It was more, I enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed the crack of cycling to training with the lads, you know, playing the matches. I know we were lucky enough in Pal, we had a decent enough underage team, and that probably helps a bit as well. But it was just more the enjoyment for me anyway, I think, at an underage. And it's probably only when you get past minor that it's something you consider and start realising, maybe, look, I do have a chance to do this.
Is your thought process the same with club and county in regards of no matter who you're playing? Is it like what you're going to do in the ball is what you're capable of doing in the ball no matter what game you're playing?
I think maybe now, definitely when I first went in, and if your first senior game and stuff when you're a bit younger, like, I was way more nervous, and it's a bit of a shock. There's a lot less time on the ball. It's the same as going from club minor, say, to senior. You'll be playing minor and you have a lot more time, and then you're getting the ball in senior and you have some out lad absolutely hammering you out of it.
Yeah.
And then that's just amplified again.
Three teeth in his head, slobbering the back of the head off you.
Yeah. I remember, few of those moments. But then, like, it's the same with like Carlow. You're playing maybe an O'Byrne Cup match, and like you've obviously probably had a few decent games with the club to get into that position, and you know you might have confidence, but then you could be going out and getting absolutely roasted in an O'Byrne Cup game and be like, "Geez, I'm nowhere near this." Like,
yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's very hard to measure though, isn't it? Really, when you're playing for, I'm not disrespect, when you're playing for kind of a lesser county, isn't it very hard to measure like where we actually are? Like if I was in Kildare or Laois or not Laois, but if I was in Kildare or Meath or wherever, would I be in the reckoning there? Like it's a very difficult thing. It's, you know what the funny thing, what gets me about intercounty in general, is that your commitment is the very same as a guy who's going to lift the Sam Aware. Right? It's the very same. But it's just where you're, like, you can't go anywhere else. It's where you're from, you have to play from. I find that.
But look at Loud is some example, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won the Leinster this year, did they?
yeah,
He didn't have a bad season though, lads. Like he had a good year.
Well, it finished well from the start, she said, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been like a lot of our past few seasons, a bit up and down, like, you know.
Yeah.
And just when you think you're going well, then you come straight back
But sure,
down.
look at the Fermanagh one. And
Reality
then,
hits you then, yeah.
yeah, the Fermanagh one was fantastic. And then Longford, like, Carlow's 1-5. I heard by saying that, it was at a wedding. Carlow's 1-5. And I said, wow, Carlow, who are they playing? Longford. I'd have hockeyed them in the league. And then someone turned on the match. It was 116 to 5 points there to Longford.
Yeah.
I said, what? Couldn't believe it.
and I think like what Mikey said there is definitely a frustrating thing for us as a group. Like, and it's something I think we'll really focus on next year. Like, you'd be hoping to build some consistency, and like maybe the last few years there's been a bit of kind of up and down with management and certain people not happy. But I think what we have at the moment and the kind of base we've got from the short period Joe and the lads have come in, you know, it would have you excited for next year already.
It needs stability, doesn't it? Off the playing field, like the sideline has to be spot on. Like, and I think, judging by players, I think they trust Joe.
Yeah, 100%.
But what's-
Would you have dealt with Joe at O'Loughlin? No,
No,
you missed that. Yeah.
No.
You're probably under 10s or something, really. But I tell you what, you just struck a chord with me there. What you said, the last thing you said, you're looking forward to next year already. Like, is that a current, or is that not current? Is that something that happens every year?
I think the end of the season is a bit funny for us, like, because you're in it for so long. I know when it comes to an end, like, especially at the end this year, you're kind of a bit, you know, obviously upset about how it ended,
Gotcha.
like, and all, but there comes that bit of a break week after that when you're really kind of enjoying a bit of a break away from it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that always kind of happens there, maybe a week after you get knocked out, that you're kind of like a bit thankful for a bit of time back, like.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, I don't think it's been every year that we have like that sort of.
But that's a fair mentality,
enthusiasm
though.
going to next year, and like, it's
Yeah,
a couple
that's what I
months
mean.
away, like, so.
Yeah, like that is a fair reflection on how you finished, though. To say, geez, I can't wait to go back in there next year. So talk to me about you finish up. Talk about the off season. Is your nutrition and your routine the same? The kind of do you drink?
Yeah,
would,
a few pints.
So you would.
Fall up no toilet
So you would let the hair down a little bit this time of year.
I think that's important as well. Like Mikey was saying there, it is very full on during it. So it's nice to kind of get a few weekends where you're not just kind of, I know for myself, I'm up in Dublin, so you're not just racing up and down the road. I know Mikey did that for a good bit as well. But no, I think it's important. You need to kind of let even your mind, body just relax a bit and then get yourself refocused for the club. But when you're in it with the club in the business end of the season, like, it is the same.
Just
like,
intense.
You're training 3 times a week. You have to do the same gym work, and like you're going flat out.
Yeah. See, people kind of. It was actually a stupid question I asked you, because you do actually forget that the club scene is just as strong as the county scene in relation to what you're putting into it, right? Talk to me.
You have more chance of getting, no disrespect to Carlow, but getting a trophy with your club than your county.
Yeah.
At the moment, anyway.
Yeah, but I think like, if you don't look after yourself through the club season, you're just going to pick up injuries, and it's just
Yeah.
like, it's the same thing. You're playing at the same intensity in games, like.
More intense sometimes, I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, you know a lot of lads you're playing against. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They know you too. He's what ankle weights on, he's that fast.
Where do you play? Position.
I play in the full forward line.
So that's number 9. Let's centre forward.
Yeah.
Well, am I joking? Am I joking?
Maybe a
Corner
winger.
forward.
Yeah,
Right
corner
foot, left
forward.
foot.
Right foot.
I should have said both. You're into county football. Or a chance. Where are you playing?
Definitely not both.
Definitely a wing back.
Wing forward, kind of.
Yeah. I've seen you in action already a few times. Yeah. What's that saying? You say after the train on the track?
You know, get off the track. The train is coming. Yeah, get out of the way.
That's the vibe we get.
Yeah.
Talk to me about
He's like a good-looking choo-choo, isn't he?
yeah. He's the best looking lad. I've had
Choo-choo's a good lad.
isn't he? Come here, I'll tell you. Talk to me about your calorie intake. Is it the same all year round? Like, are you at that level where you're counting whey and rice and all that crack? Like, do you do that?
Personally, I wouldn't do it. No, like you kind of know when. You know at this stage kind of what you're eating. Well, I kind of do anyway. So you know when you're eating right and in a good routine. Like I wouldn't be for counting calories and stuff like that. But I know a lot of lads are.
Are they?
They will be weighing stuff and getting everything right. Few lads a bit more than others.
Yeah, Mark Fiore is like so meticulous. It's scary.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, you should see it. It's like the exact. He'd know exactly what he's have every day. I'd say Shane Clark is probably the same as well. I think for me, like a big thing I just focus on is getting the right amount of protein in each day. Especially days you're training just for recovery and stuff. But I wouldn't be counting my calories to the dot. But while you're in season anyway, as much as you can, like you'd be trying to make everything yourself, you know. And
What do you eat before a match? Do they have a match? If you have a match at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, what's your food for the day?
I'd probably start with maybe porridge, and then
It's a slow burner, I was told. Is it the porridge? Is that what? A slow burning carb? Is it a slow release carb or something? Is it? No, sorry, that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Cut that out.
just eat it.
It's lovely in a cold morning. That's all I know. Yeah.
yeah, porridge, then maybe a bit of fruit in the morning, and then you'd be looking at getting a meal kind of around 12 or 1, and then probably if the match was at 8, you'd be hoping to eat maybe 3 hours before it, kind of your second meal. But I think with matches, like Yvonne, our nutritionist, who would be saying it to us a lot, it's nearly the day before that's more important, to make sure you're getting as much carbs in as possible, and that's nearly more of a benefit the next day. Like,
Fuck.
It's super tight, right? But like, there's two lads sitting in front of me. Like, you sound like that. You're a bit in the Mark Fiore fence, right? You sound like that. You just eat your dinner. What's the fucking story? You're just not conscious. You're just like, well, yeah. It's just fuel.
No, like my day before game, you just nearly just eat as much as you can, like.
Lord.
So just like I wouldn't be too specific on what I'm eating. Just whatever's there, you'd eat it. I wouldn't be too fussy on anything like that. So, I know Ian Atkinson, he took a bite of Mark Fiore's bagel on the bus going up to the games. I wouldn't be like that around, but
Is this your first year captain and vice captain?
yeah.
How do you find it?
I don't know. It's been a tough out year. Like, feels like it's been nearly 2 seasons into one. Like, I think at the start. I remember going out and playing my first 2 games, and you did feel a bit more pressure on it. Like, just because, like, lads are relying on you to say something or like stuff like that. It'd just be in your own head. Like, it wouldn't actually be anything.
Explain that to me now. Explain that to me. Break that down for me. What you're saying there. So you're going out and play. So you've broke it down into 2 seasons, right? That's what you're saying to me. And the first half, is it pressure?
It's probably a bit of pressure you're putting yourself. Maybe going out in the first few games. Yeah, like I suppose like I would have just been wanting to go out and play and not really think too much about something like that.
Just play the game.
Yeah, but then you kind of feel like, you know, even the likes just going for a toss and you can't do the proper warm up and stuff like that. Just additional things like that. But it's just pressure you put on yourself unnecessarily. Like, and I kind of got used to it then after a while. Like, it just became normal.
So how do you manage that as a captain then? Like, so obviously leadership reflects attitude. So if you go with stinking attitude as a captain, it's going to sense vice captain, it's going to filter out. So do you kind of have to play a part that no matter if it's the worst thing in the world, I have to play a part that this is brilliant, so that everyone else kind of falls in line, be it say a crap warm up or whatever it may be.
Yeah, well, like it was definitely tough at the start, but I think as it went on, I was nearly more so like you just can't put your head down. You kind of have to just try to stay going, like no matter what was going on, because lads could be looking to you without you even really knowing it.
Yeah.
Like we've enough lads there that have enough advice. Like it's not just, we're not a team just relying on one lad to pull us along.
Gotcha.
So
So from the outside looking in, though, looking at your playing matches, your actions would be a reflection of your leadership in the way.
yeah, I wouldn't be the biggest fan of talking now.
No, you would just, you'd know straight away.
It's Peter on a podcast, isn't it?
Yeah. No, but it strike me like that. But then when you're playing, like, you just when you get the ball at some stage, just let him off, let him go, like, because it's unbelievable looking at you in the sideline when you're traveling with the ball. Like, from a lad that didn't play, I played with the Blues as far as minor under 21. That was it. But I go look at football. I look at matches on the television, and you're fantastic. You're tidy, lovely little footballer. Like no,
You're not fantastic.
No, in the corner, like. But he's just when he goes at the ball, it's like
No, stop.
ooh, see you after.
Yeah.
You know, and that's you probably get into any team in the country the way you travel with the ball sometimes. You know, that's your captain's role coming through, that you don't have to say anything. Just this is what he does. You know, it's a great attitude or attribute to have. People looking at you.
Talk to me about specific roles then in vice captain and captain. Like, talk to me about things you have to do. Like, are you a liaise between the manager and players, between county board and players? Like, what's your? It's not only a title. Obviously, there's a bit to it, right?
I think me and Mikey as well, we're the two GPA reps as well for the squad, so there would be a good bit of liaison between the county board just in terms of like getting the gear and that kind of stuff ready, and any help players need in terms of GPA support or grants or any of that. But we probably had more meetings than we'd prefer with the county board this year.
We'll come on to that shortly, lads.
But no, there is there is more to it than you think in terms of you'd be having meetings you wouldn't have had before, and that's whether like it's going in to pick gear, what gear you're going to wear for training or this kind of stuff. But like I think it's what Mikey said, once you get used to it, it just kind of becomes a part of your routine and you don't even really think too much about it.
There's a lot in it, though.
If someone doesn't turn up in the proper training gear, do you pull them or does management pull them? Or lads just rock up in proper
Joe
gear?
kind of wanted player driven, so we've gotten good at it now in the last few weeks, but we just put in the schedule for the week, so what training gear we're wearing at each training, and most lads, maybe Barry Atkinson, would be good for sticking to it.
What's he rocking with? Aston Villa jerseys and shit like that.
Two pairs of Donna socks.
Where'd he get that in prison? Where's Donna?
He bought 20 pairs in Sports Direct.
Who's this? Call him out.
Ian Atkinson.
What's his club?
Oh, Lachlan.
Was he a teammate?
Yeah. He went in looking for Nike socks and he seen the price. He actually went up to Nike socks. He was telling this story one night, and
He's like getting riddled.
3-pack of Nike socks, and he could buy 12 Donny socks for the same price.
Donny! Where's he going? Wimbledon? Who the fuck? Where's Donny? What's the like that? But that I suppose that's something that having a character like that kind of brings lads together as well, right? Having someone like us and spends that money on Donna, you know what I mean? I suppose it kind of brings you together as well, right? But isn't it difficult? That's so results driven as well, right?
Yeah, I think we seen that big time with Longford, because we obviously were going very well, got a good result against Fermanagh, a decent result against Wexford, where we probably felt like we left a good few chances behind. Like, we hit the crossbar I think 3 or 4 times.
That was a draw, was it?
Yeah, it was a draw. And then even the week before the Longford game, like, I thought the management got it like perfect. Like, we were all well aware that this was going to be a big task. Like, we needed to be like, there was no complacency in the squad, and it was just disappointing because we just didn't go out and perform. Like, I was talking to my father afterwards, and he was like, I couldn't tell you one lad on that pitch who played well for you today. Like, you know, usually you'd have
one of them,
and it just didn't. Now, we were better in the second half, but it just didn't go well. And
you gave yourself too much to do, though, didn't you? I know there was a strong wind that day, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was the first half just killed us.
Yeah,
the
2-pointers.
Yeah, the kick 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then you've had such a good few weeks, and that one result is killer. But like, that's just sport, I think, in general.
Yeah, it is.
So it
you
is
lost
a
the home
result.
draw because of that, though, didn't you?
Yeah, it's a results driven business. So, and like, realistically, I don't think we've anyone but ourselves to blame for that result. We just didn't perform in that first half.
You would have got some turnout in the county grounds after, or Netwatch Cullen Park, whatever they call it, after beating Fermanagh and then beating Longford and have a home draw. It would have been, the boys are hopping here now, they're going, well, it's going to be a good game no matter who you're playing.
Yeah, I nearly felt bad after the Longford game, because especially for the lads that like travelled up to Fermanagh and stuff like that to support us up there, that you couldn't get a home draw, home quarter final to win that and go play in Croke Park after.
Yeah.
And was it
Then
Sligo
doing
you were
that,
playing no
it's just
matter what?
No, it's
No.
not
So
open
we
draw.
actually would have got a week off and then played a quarter final, but instead
Oh,
we had
was
to go
it?
for Sligo for preliminary. So there's an element of that. Like, it's probably one of the toughest losses we've taken in a while, I'd say.
I'd say that, yeah.
100%.
One we felt a big time. Like,
Well, you were, like, as I said, you were strong favourites to win the game. Just disappointing, unfortunately. But
yeah.
It's a disaster as well, isn't it? Especially when you're on a crest of a wave, and you're probably not going into it overconfident or underprepared. But it's amazing how them games are actually on the fucking day when you get to the business end of football, isn't it? Especially GAA. A lot of the games are actually on the day. You know, because if that's the league, you probably beat them in the league comfortably. Like you did you?
you hockeyed them in it, didn't you? You
Yeah.
beat them well anyway.
I think maybe by 8 or 9. I'm not sure exactly what the final score was, but it was around that.
Tell me this: if there was any advice you could give to someone who's contemplating in playing senior county football for Carlow, what are you telling them? What does it take to be an inter-county footballer?
I think one thing I probably learned was it's time. Like, I think some lads go in and they expect they'll just get into the starting 15 straight away. And I think when you go in, you realise there is a bit of a jump, and sometimes you just need to spend a year or two in there getting yourself up to that pace and standard, especially younger guys. Like, I remember when I went in, like, I didn't play at all the first year, you know, and even the second year, you're kind of only coming on as a sub, you might be getting more chances. But like, every time I was going back to the club then, I was finding that a lot easier. Now, you're probably getting better anyway as you're getting older, but it's also hard to say that to someone because you're giving up a lot of your life and they're saying, well, you're sitting on the bench for Carlow, like, so,
Yeah.
which is something hopefully we can change to make it more attractive, you know, going forward.
Yeah, it's funny you said it. We had Kevin on here after Christmas, didn't we? Kevin Regan.
Kevin Regan, yeah.
And we were saying that there's actually a lot of players that just hang around and just be a part of a panel and are happy to kind of be that player that doesn't have to train club because they're part of a county setup and is never going to play a county. Like, what would you do? Because that's obviously an area that's a bit inconsistent. Like, is there something that can be done to make sure that that player is active? Like, so if there's a player, say, that doesn't kick a ball for you, has been a sub the whole year, does all the training, but has been a sub all year, but hasn't kicked a ball at club, is there anything that you can say, go play a bit of club there? Or?
Yeah, like, well, I'd say for the players like that, like, if you have a good enough county setup, like, say someone like that, it just enjoys playing football.
Yeah.
If you have a good enough county setup where you're getting practice matches and they're playing, like, you're competing with the best lads in the county.
Yeah.
3-4 nights a week, like, and you're going out and playing practice matches against, like, the likes of Roscommon or someone like that. Like, that should be what you want, like.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're not really getting much, say, competitive game time, but if you're just looking to improve yourself as a footballer or go enjoy your football, if you have a good setup, like,
That's the place
it
to be.
should be the place to be, like.
Yeah. That filters in them with what you're saying, be patient.
I think it's easier to say to someone, say maybe who's just out of under 20s, like, to kind of build into that mould. But I do think you do need a bit of patience. Obviously, some lads, you have these lads who will just come through and they'll play straight away.
John Perry.
Yeah. But
Oh, you love him.
He'd love to hear you say
Yeah.
Of course, John is an absolute gent. Some athlete, didn't he? Is he on the Carlow hurling panel as well, is he?
I don't think so,
No.
no.
He was
No.
in the 20s, was he, last year?
I don't know if he was in the 20s hurling, was he?
I'm not sure. He's supposed to be a very good hurler, though.
Yeah.
That's Carlow Town, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a few. Kyle Nolan's supposed to be great.
Very good
hurlers.
soccer player. John Perry, yeah.
John was outstanding, yeah. He's only a chap, though. Is he? What age are you, actually, lads? Do you mind me asking?
26.
26.
Born in 1999.
9.
I'm 98.
Fuck's sake.
So you'll be the same age then as Danny Doyle, John Byrne.
Yeah.
You know all them lads.
Yeah.
Conor Doherty, he's a year younger. Is he? He's
Yeah,
in
I would
Hull?
have been in school with Connor and John. They'd be
Okay.
two of my good friends.
Not
now,
big.
Yeah.
Great school.
Yeah.
Great strong leash school. Good football in school.
Yeah, no, it's a really good school. I love my time there anyway.
Yeah.
So
I do forget how like.
You never forget Leash anyway, do you?
Oh man, every week he has something to say about, which is absolutely disgraceful.
You have to keep you grounded, bud.
Yeah. Come here, let's get into it, lads. Talk to me about the season past. what the fuck happened? How did it happen? What's the thoughts when the appointment comes in? Did he have much history in management? Before he got the Carlow job?
I wouldn't have heard much about him before he got the Carlow job now. I think he was with a club in Offaly maybe.
Oh, okay.
Right. So
first impressions?
At the start, like, he was definitely passionate about what he was doing. Like, he probably had good intentions at the start. I think just the overall setup maybe probably wasn't what it needed to be, I'd say.
Where was the breakdown there then in setup?
I think it was just maybe a bit of inexperience from the lads.
Okay.
Like, it is, like we were talking about, it's a big step up to be an inter-county player. It's obviously an even bigger step up to be an inter-county coach or manager.
Yeah, fair point, yeah.
And you'd be hoping someone who's going into that role either has kind of serious history with a club or has maybe been a selector in on a panel before and kind of has seen what it takes, like you would with anything, a job.
Yeah, of course.
Or anything. So I think that was maybe the breakdown. But I would say, like, in fairness to Shane, he was very passionate when he came in, and I think his heart was in the right place, but I don't think the setup was there.
Is that because when he's appointed, is it a case where he's told pick your own staff? Or is he saying, well, I'm coming on my own, you may give me staff?
I'm not really sure now how that would work.
They're all local staff, aren't they? Paddy Millay was Rathvilly. James Clark was O'Loughlin.
Yeah, we had a fella from Kerry as well. I'm not too sure the ins and outs of how you go about selecting.
When I hear of someone like James Clark walking away, who's an absolute gentleman, I'm like, what is going on there, man? Like, you must have done something bad to upset that man. Like, he's the nicest man alive, like. He is, though. Isn't he, though? He's an absolute fucking gem, like.
And he do anything for Carlow as well.
Honestly, I'm telling you, his father was the same. Yeah. I know him, James, all my life. I played Oscar trainer with him. Super goalkeeper.
Who was he?
Parkville. Going for Parkville. He married a girl in O'Loughlin, I think, didn't he?
Yeah.
Some man, but a gentleman. And I'm going, and then Shane Clark, and I'm going, what's going on here? Man has a fucking suicide bomber up here or something. I don't know what's wrong with him, but it was terribly bad. See the likes of them lads walking away.
Why did it come to head though? Like, why resign? Was it that London thing that the whole world was talking about?
Me and Mikey were two of the lads over in London, but the London thing was a bit frustrating when it was mentioned, because I think there was maybe 4 of us in total who stayed over in London. We stayed with our girlfriends.
How dare you have a good time?
We stayed over with our girlfriends, but like, that was fully agreed with the management before. Like, they knew we were staying over and it had been cleared, no problem. So I think that was disappointing when that was used as one of the reasons in that statement that was put out. And I think that's probably what was the annoying thing about the statement. A lot of stuff in it was just false. So it was disappointing, nearly being thrown under the bus for something. First of all, there was probably 4 of us we stayed over. Made out like we were all on the piss, but 4 of us stayed over with our girlfriends. We weren't even all together. And then secondly, I don't really see what the big problem with 2 weeks off, like we were all training on Tuesday.
That's what I'm saying, like, what's the issue? You were back for time for training Tuesday.
Yeah. So, look.
What's going through your mind when you're reading that statement, like? Because obviously, what platform was it released on?
I think it was Twitter. I would have seen it on.
Yeah, I think.
But like, was it an actual tweet from, or was it like an article tweeted?
I actually can't remember, but I remember because we were in the stands watching the under-20s game, and we kind of knew this was coming, and we seen it come up on Carlow GA then that Shane was after stepping down, and then we seen it was player issues, and we were kind of like straight away like. Was
that on the Carlow Twitter page?
Yeah, and it was kind of like.
But the statement wasn't at this stage, wasn't it? It was just a player-related issue. Shane Curran stepped away.
We were. I was even a bit at that, like, kind of.
What?
Jeez, that doesn't sound good. Like straight away.
Something. What did I do? Something wrong?
Yeah. And then I think we were still in there because we were getting our gear bags from the van coming back from London. And then I seen that I came out about the London being an issue thing as well. And I laughed at it when I first saw it, but when Laz was beside me, he was going mental. So, it's just like, in fairness, we were actually speaking with the GPA. The GPA kind of got onto us when they seen the whole thing about player issues, and in fairness to them, they kind of said to us that, like, it's not really any of, like, it's our own personal time at the end of the day. Like, whatever you do outside of training,
great point.
Like, we're amateur, like, in fairness. If you're a professional soccer player and you don't turn up your job the next morning, like, that's fair enough, but
But you're an amateur still making training on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
So what's the issue?
Yeah. So it was a bit mad in that kind of a way.
Is it a case that it was an easy target? Like, it was easy to point the finger at that. You'll never probably know the true reasons.
Yeah.
But it's easy kind of say, oh yeah, let's use that player issue thing.
Yeah, like if it just had been the player issues thing, we might have said we'll just stay quiet here and we won't bother talking up about this. But then when the thing came out about London, we were like, this kind of just makes a joke out of Carlow football here. It makes us all look like just we don't train all year and we just go on the piss for.
But is it fair to say though? Sorry to cut across you. Is it fair to say it was almost like, and again looking at it from the outside, it was almost like three things, right? You had the Carlow County Board stance, right, tweeting player issues, whatever it was. You had the managers release his whatever article, and then they're kind of saying, "What's the fucking story here, lads? Like, surely this should be kind of A and C should be together here, do you know? Like, so when did you kind of say, right, we need to get down and get something on out here? Did the GPA advise you on that?
Yeah, so like we would have had the idea to do it, and I remember we drafted up something initially, and
with crayons.
It was fairly rough now. So it was a good thing we didn't put that one out. But then the GPA kind of but they were a great help in fairness. Like you wouldn't be able to do that without them being there. Like so,
fantastic. In fairness to them, they're a really good service.
What was the reaction when that went out then from, say, the county board? Was there any issues or like this was it? This is it. It's done now. Now let's move on. Let's play. You know, let's get on with things.
Yeah, well, like that's all we wanted. We just wanted to end it there. We didn't want to say something that was going to cause backlash or like get into a back and forth. Then, so
yeah. To be fair, lads, there was no one publicly slating the manager. Like there was no one I didn't see anything where you were like, he's wrong. Like to be fair to you, for two young men, captain and vice captain, to make a decision to reply like you did, in a 5-point response, which I've never seen before, by the way. Like it was brilliant. It was great to see.
But it came across Podges. Here's the truth. This is it. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Get the new manager in. Let's support him.
Yeah.
And that was it in a nutshell. And that was applause to you, like, straight away. Fantastic to do the way he's done it.
On the GPA, like they aren't that big of a resource to you. Like, are they contactable the whole time? Do you have you're the reps, but there's obviously an executive within there, and Desi Farr was I know he's the Dublin manager, but he was kind of on to kickstart the whole thing, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, the GPA are unreal. In fairness, like they even especially for college students and stuff, like they offer so many services in terms of like college grants, but even stuff like lads going for say internships in college, or not just college but in life, like the GPA offers a service that you'll get your full CV done up professionally. So they set you up with someone, you meet with them, kind of give them a rough draft, they'll go away and do it up professionally for you, and then like I was saying with the college grants, but there's a program, it's called BO 360 I think, where like you can meet with kind of like career like life guidance.
Brilliant.
And they do similar stuff with like, you know, if you have problems or anything, you can reach out to them.
Brilliant. And is there a connection between the GPA and the GA? Like, is there a link there at all? It's not a branch off. They're a separate thing, right?
Oh, I think they're a separate organisation, but I'd say they were working closely enough.
This brings me on to the next thing. Surely they're targeting to go pro. Surely. Boys, you can talk. The microphone's working.
I don't know the answer to that question.
I'd say that's the direction they're trying to go into, but it's probably a very big leap from where it is now. Like I know.
Is it though?
Yeah, but well, you look at say the money the GA brings into the Irish economy. I know we were at a meeting there, and I don't know the figure, but they did a survey, and it's crazy the money the GA brings into the Irish economy. And then
you don't know the figure. You don't know the figure at all.
No, I could probably get it for you, but.
Get there, will you?
But and even stuff like player image rights, I think that's something they're big on, because I think Shane O'Donnell was someone who came out and he was like his photos being used to promote something, and he was never even asked or like compensated or anything. Yeah. So I think that's something like they're really looking into this year, about like player image and likeness, so that you can't just use that
Do you remember the boys from Cork putting the Corona on their boots, no? The hurlers back in the day. Do you remember that? Cork hurlers. I think it was Ben and Jerry O'Connor, was it? Not Ben and Jerry's ice cream, no, Papa. But they had boots and they put the Corona stamp on their boots. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. But like that image thing is very interesting in this day and age, because surely you should have creative rights over your image, right? So if you're saying Shane O'Donnell is the new Shane O'Donnell burger there in Supermax, he doesn't know anything about it. Do you know what I mean? He's still going to pay for it, like, even though in the face of it. Like, surely they're trying to iron things out to a point where you own your own rights and things like that. Does that make sense?
I think that's kind of the impression I got, that's where they're trying to go to.
But then if they're doing that, like, it's next. You know that? If they're doing the image rights and things like that, professional football is next. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to know because, like, I think the image rights things probably does go a long way now. It's probably not
for us.
Yeah, it doesn't go too far. You're going
to be the face for a podcast going forward. You know?
The Mikey Bambrick burger.
Yeah. What'll be on it, Mikey? What'll be on your burger?
Jesus, I don't know.
Just shave a sheep.
Ian Atkinson socks.
Just shave a sheep and throw them on.
Yeah. There's a few other lads in there that deserve a burger more than I do.
No, I think obviously it's something that had to be super structured, right? As in, like, there has to be salary caps. Just because you're playing for a big county doesn't mean you should be getting more than the likes of a Loud or a Carlow or Kildare or Laois, whatever it may be. So there definitely have to be a caps. And one thing else is
Yeah, but that's your argument straight away.
What?
The Dublin lad wouldn't accept the same wage as a Carlow lad.
Well, sure, you'd have
Let's
to.
be honest.
Sure,
He
it's
wouldn't.
more than what he's getting now.
He's not going to accept it.
That's right.
There's your argument straight away.
Don't play county football.
Yeah.
You have to.
Try to tell him
Go
that.
play cricket or something. But you can't move either. That's, you know, because I think that's where they're in hot discussion. The caps and the fact that players can move now. That shouldn't be allowed. It should still be the same setup. The only thing that should change is that you should be getting a check at the end of the week. And I genuinely think that. I don't understand how it's not professional.
So you can't move county, but everyone just gets paid.
Yeah, there's a cap.
allowance.
Yeah.
Wouldn't say no to it.
Paddy's waving the phone. It's a message come in. Poppy, do you have any questions for the lads there? Come on. Fuck's sake. Oh, Podge, stop moving. Podge, stop moving your mic. Sorry about that, bud. I do apologise. So I actually have the response here, and I have to say it is very well put together. You know I was going to the GPA, lads, to be fair. I don't think either of you are that intellectual. I can send you something like that. Anyway, he turned a serious corner. Fair play to you on releasing that. It definitely, well, it got my attention as someone who wouldn't really support Carlow GA. And I was like, "Whoa, this is interesting." I remember saying to Pop, "Well, mind getting someone on the podcast in relation to that at the time?" But obviously, you were a few weeks out from championship and things like that. So, new manager Joe Murphy comes in. What did you expect?
I actually don't know. Like, again, I never played under before this, so all you're doing is hearing stories about him. But like, I think even leading up to Joe coming in, there was a lot of lads actually from Carlow that just stepped in to take 2 sessions for us.
Really?
That was actually one of the biggest things for me, because like I was kind of there just kind of seeing if anyone would come down and give us a dig out for 1 or 2 sessions. Like, we just would have went ourselves, but while we were waiting for
the decisions we made.
Yeah, for Joe to come in, like, but like that was kind of the biggest thing for me, because the lads were only more than happy to come in and take it. Like
Simon and that, was it? Simon
Mickey O and James Clark.
Yeah.
did it?
Yeah, and in fairness to the lads now, like, it was brilliant seeing him coming down, and thank God they're after staying with us since as well. Like, in fairness to Mick, I don't think he had any intentions of coming into us this year, but like once he was in, he was only delighted to stay there, and we were delighted to have him. Like, great to have him around the place.
James is back, is he?
Yeah,
Delighted to hear that.
yeah.
What's the time frame then? What was the time frame?
It was fairly quick. I think we probably did maybe 3 sessions on our own.
Yeah, it was
And
2 or
then
3.
It was the training before the Meath game. Joe was in for that.
Yeah.
And he took us kind of for a meeting and just laid out what he wanted to do for the year. But like, when you have someone who's won that much as a manager and done it as a player as well, like, you know, it is a big.
He definitely
boost for
turned the
club.
ship there, right?
Sure. Everywhere he goes, Podge, he's won a trophy, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Except Greg.
Sure. Fucking
Sorry.
Pep Guardiola would win over there. 65 years or something, is it?
It's a
165
long
years.
time. But no, but like, surely as a player who's gone, who you've just gone through that whole debacle, right? You've just gone through it. Like, surely there's a bit of grey in your area where you're saying, "Fuck this now." Like, you know, Lord, if Jesus Christ walked in the door, He's not going to save us here.
Yeah, it was a thing of Joe coming back, but there was also a few players that came back as well there. Kind of just re-energized the whole thing and just...
Who came back in?
Jamie Clark, Colin Byrne.
Yeah.
Dara.
Due to injury or just what?
Well, a few lads left during the year.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, like, it was kind of... There was a few lads kind of leaving here and there throughout the year.
Any specific reason? Just didn't like
I'd say a clash of personalities.
between management.
I met one player. At a shop, and I think it was a session on a Sunday morning down in Fenna, and I think it was like started at 10 and 2:15 or something. He came over, and he was like 4 1/4 hours. He's like, "Fuck that! I don't think I'll go back."
Oh,
Yeah.
Do you get looked after? Do you get food and all after training?
We would, yeah.
You all looked after like that. You don't have to pay for any gear or anything like that, or it's all everything is covered. So it is like but I didn't realise the players walked away. No, that's a strange one. So there was just like feathers ruffled from the start, like.
Yeah, I think it was like...
These are afraid to talk, aren't they?
I think.
How can I be diplomatic?
What can I say and what can't I say? That's what-
I think 9 players left.
Wasn't that many?
9.
Yeah, something like that.
They're opening up, Papa. We're in. We're in.
But
There's the time.
but the thing about that, you always will get players leaving kind of throughout the year anyway. You probably
Is that a normal?
You're probably going to
not
get,
9 though,
No, you probably get
and not
2.
under the circumstances they left. I'd say either.
Just going to ask: was it the 9 left for the same reason?
It's hard to say. Like, every year you probably have 3 or 4
Yeah,
that might step away just for different reasons. It's fair enough. Like, if you're in there and you're committing and something pops up in life, like, you know, there's lads having children and all that sort of crack. Like, there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah,
There's lads that take a step away, but I would say it was clash of personality.
clash of personalities. Yeah.
So tell me, like, what do you mean when you say clash person? Are you saying like you're saying green and he's saying blue, and it's just like it's not going to happen? Like, there's no compromise.
I don't even know it's that, but I'd say some people probably lost a bit of belief, and then some like, I wouldn't say all 9 people left for the same reason. You know, there's always going to be different reasons. Like Mikey's saying there, things pop up and certain players might not be happy with the game time they're getting or how things are being run. Like, there was probably a mix of everything, you know. So I'd say, like, there was a few things, but you're always going to get them few lads stepping away each year, but 9 probably at the stage of the year was a bit extreme.
Yeah,
But that's an outside manager thing as well, where an inside one or a local lad would know the players in general of where he's from and what he plays and what kind of a character he is. Where Shane could have the idea, like, I don't give a fuck who's speaking to her. But some players need a hug and some players need a slap. I said that many times when you're managing players, and it's the way you say it to someone and what you say it to someone at a certain time will either trigger something to say, man, I'd play for this lad, or I won't. And there is lads in every group that would say, don't like to be spoken to the way maybe he spoke to them or something like that. But it was a tricky situation, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't an enjoyable period.
No,
Anyway.
I wouldn't.
it doesn't sound like a real.
Like, you're going down there to play, and that's really it. Not obviously there's more to it, but I think there was probably a lot more stuff going on at that time, which you shouldn't really have to be dealing with.
Well, it's not what you want to be talking about Carlow football about, is it?
Yeah.
No,
it's not.
Like,
No.
that's...
and like, in fairness, I think we've discussed it well, but it'd be good to kind of discuss the future, and I think we're going to go into a good period. Like, I'd have a lot of belief in next year, and I think even listening to the lads, like, there's a lot of belief in Joe, but there's a lot of belief in the players as well.
Yeah.
You'd be hoping some lads will come back as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's probably a couple of players that's not in the squad. It should be in the squad as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's to be fair to you, it kind of marks the kind of people you are, because it's very hard to be so positive after going through something so shit. So the fact that you came out of it, finished the season strong, got in obviously a good management structure. I know you're saying to me, I'm looking forward to going back next year, first of all. And secondly, hey, we're going to compete here. Like that must, like, he must be in a real good space.
Yeah, like
I think that.
I think leading up to it, I think it was probably playing on a lot of lads, because when you're going out to train and it's just like 3 or 4 nights a week, like I think a lot of lads were kind of just
dreading it.
yeah, like it was nearly coming to that stage. Like, but then in fairness, come the end of
That's
it,
a
like,
terrible way to go and train, isn't it? Though, really.
yeah, but like come the end of it, at least there was that bit of light at the end of the tunnel, like where we have a few good performances come the end of that year. And you
Well,
can go into the next year
when
with-
Shane stepped away, I don't think you think you're going to feel the way you are now. Like it's even though you didn't get anything over it, it's still positive for you the way it ended with Joe coming in and belief you have coming into next year. And I hope from just the lads standing in the grounds looking at Carlow playing that they give him a couple of years, 2 or 3 or 4 years to get his claws into us. Because even if they don't, if Carlow don't come out Division 4 next year, but to have it at the season that they don't expect, like not as good as what they want to have, let them do another 3 or 4 years, like, and let them get the, like you said, you're only 26, you're the same. You're going hitting your peak, yeah. You know, there's a few lads in the squad like that as well, a lot of lads. So
Papa just said you're still shy.
oh no,
I joke.
no, but I think he deserves 3 or 4 years, especially when he has the CV he has, because everywhere he goes to bring success, except Craig, obviously.
yeah, like
Do
it's
you
very
know,
hard
is
on
it-
paper to pick someone better.
Oh, he was ideal.
Honest to God,
You know, like,
yeah.
it's-
No, you said it. He was
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. And do you know what it is, lads? I don't know the man. But I can tell you this: he left a quite good job in Naas.
But they're going for 3 in a row, were they? Or 4,
I
3 in
think
a row.
that speaks enough there as is as well.
Like
in
you're
fairness
talking
to-
Leinster All Ireland potential. Do you know what I mean? If obviously they get over Leinster, but if they go over Leinster and get into the like potential to win it, like you know, so to be fair to him, I read something where he said it's the only job he would take. Actually, at the time, would have been the Carlow job. Looking at Loud this year win Leinster, what does that say to you? Like, does it give you belief?
Yeah, like it does. Like in fairness, like I've only played Loud, I think maybe twice, maybe in the past few years. Like you need to be competing at that level all the time. I think that's where getting out of Division 4. Like you seen once they got up, like you're competing against teams week in, week out, and you know what you have to do on a consistent basis. I think you build from there. It's very tough when you're playing Division 4 and then you get to play the higher up teams come down in the championship and you're only getting a couple of games a year at the standard you want to be at. But yeah, like it probably shows there's not as big a gap there as there was before. It's probably
Definitely shows that,
it's
doesn't
probably a
it?
mix of the new rules, a mix of just everyone being more professional, but I suppose the gap is closed now. It's a great time to be starting to build something, I suppose.
And I think they just got their structures right and in place, and like they got 2 good management structures in place and just built on it. And it didn't happen overnight for them. Like I remember we played Loud in Division 4. I think whoever won would get promoted. Maybe it was around the COVID time. And they obviously went up to Division 3, and since then they've just kicked off.
So you-
Offaly's have gone through a couple of divisions as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're Division 4 then.
Yeah.
But you came over. Turlough brought you over, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how many years ago? It's a long
1
time
year.
ago, I suppose, is it?
Yeah, it's the year before I came in. I don't know when.
Yeah, it was my first year involved in
Was
the
it?
panel. So it was a deadly year to be.
Beckel there.
Yeah.
Great year to come in.
Yeah, it was a good year to come in. Like
Some goal from your club, man.
Yeah, horse.
Horse, yeah.
But
Fucking right nickname anyway, isn't it?
Yeah,
You could run around the entry, that lad.
Yeah, but no, like I think you look at that team and the players we have at the moment, and that was obviously a fantastic team. But there's loads of quality in Carlow at the moment. You know, there isn't. There's no reason if we can't, get our.
Well, especially when you go and watch club football. There's a lot of players that play that you said, yes, he should be in with the county or deserves a chance anyway. But what do you think of the new rules? Fans of the new rules?
Yeah, I love them anyway. I think they're much better.
Positives, negatives.
2-pointers?
I take him out.
Don't like him?
Oh, you get rid of him. I think they actually would work, but I think like when you're playing in Ireland, like there's going to be massive wind blowing one way. I think you see a lot of games, even in Division 1 games, like there's people just building up leads in the first half with the win, kicking 2-pointers. Then it's just chasing the game in the second half when you're like, I don't know.
But they had to do something though, lads, didn't they?
Yeah,
They've
like,
made it a much better spectacle though. Like I do
Yeah.
think
It was
there's
7
tweaks.
rules. And did the 7 go through? 7 rule changes. Was that right?
there's been a few tweaks ever since now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Was there? Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think they're brilliant. But there is like stuff like that 50 metres being brought up. You know, someone catches a kick out
That's
and then
harsh, isn't it?
you're conceding a 2-point free. Like that's a killer. Even
I
when you're playing.
watched that game at the weekend, Donegal, and who were they playing? I
Man.
thought the referee was going to the toilet with the football. I said, where's he going? Yeah, he ran 60 metres with the ball. I said, where's he going? Yeah, and then he just dropped it, don't pick up the ball and play. Like, it's too far, like.
Yeah, like I think for descent it's actually fine. It's probably after tidying up the game is small because there's less just throwing away the ball and stuff like that. But the one where you're competing in the air for a kick out, then it gets brought up 50 metres. Like you said, like he's going the whole into the pitch with it. Like.
I think the whole thing though was to change the kind of low block thing, wasn't it? Like you'd see the videos going viral of school games where
15 behind the ball.
Yeah. Do you remember that? I don't know what county it was in, but it was ridiculous. And the video of, I think it was under 14 game, and it could actually be a relation to Cliffords, I think, where your man was marking him and just faced him and ran around. Did you see that video, no?
There's two boys marking him in the corner.
Yeah, two lads marking him in the corner. Sorry, yeah. So I think they kind of had to change it. I think it's a much better game now to watch anyway. I don't know about playing it, but like, are you a fan of that low block? Because everyone done it, didn't they?
Well, like the 3 up and 3 back, like that solves love because there's so much more room to attack. Like, and you see it this year. Like, there's, like I think the 2-point arc is there, but you'd wonder if the 2-point arc came out, would be more lads going for goal chances because there's a lot of space there in 11v11 that when it does open up, lads are going for it. But now you can just get a goal at one end, someone kicks 2-point at the other end, and nearly nullifies it. Like,
I actually thought it might change the shape.
It happened at the weekend.
Yeah,
Mayo got a goal, and then your man
straight away down the far end kicks 2-point.
Murphy, is it Murphy?
Murphy,
kicked the 2-pointer straight away.
Yeah,
some footballer, isn't he?
Yeah, there would a few of him around there.
He's flying for his age, was he? He must be 39. Is he 30 or 39?
He's well into his 30s, I'd say. Anyway.
He's not 26 anyway, not that.
Don't have as many greys yet.
And he's super. I watched him at the weekend. He's fantastic. Yeah.
I was just saying, I actually thought it might change the shape of teams, like that whole 2-point thing. Maybe like an inside wing forward and have like 5 in your half forward line instead of 3, like more bodies to get off shots or whatever. Does that make sense, or is it just like shut up, Podge?
I think you will see more though going forward. Some team is going to do something mad and it's going to work for them.
Flying V.
Yeah. But I think as the rules progress and as it goes further, like someone's going to unlock something and then everyone will start doing it. It was like McGuinness doing what you're saying there, the low block.
Yeah.
No one would have ever thought of that. And then when he starts getting results with it, teams are like, sure, why won't we do that? Like, I'm sure you see it in kind of soccer the whole time as well.
Yeah.
4-4-2 when I played. It's not anymore.
It's trend. But it's trends.
Yeah.
But traditionally in Gaelic, the trends were the player's application rather than the actual shape of the team. So if you look at Mickey Hart's Tyrone teams, like smother the ball. So it's players, it's their approach rather than the shape. So the shape was probably always the same. Keeper, 3-3-2, 3-3, and then maybe the odd time a corner forward might come in as a third midfielder. Like, have we gone from that now, or are we still on that?
You probably are still nearly on it, but like you're kind of, if you look where a lot of teams are playing, they're kind of packing out the 21 and just leaving lads on the outside to get 1-on-1s or kick 2s.
So there is, I gotcha.
Yeah, and when you're doing that, like the likes of a full back could be in the forward line, and like, there's the risk of being opened up in the back if you turn it over. Like, but
what's your preferred style then? What would you prefer, like, as an approach? What do you like? Would you be a fan of that low block, or do you want to be expansive, or like, how do you like to play?
More space, the better.
Yeah,
it's too. Come the end of the season before the rule came in, I think we've had some brutal games playing. That's just the way the game was. Like, it was so methodical, just working up, and then you're working side to side.
Yeah,
and there's no real like chance to go at it.
No, with no depth. Like, that's one thing I noticed. Like, we say in soccer that there's two things: is width and depth, especially in possession. So you need the pitch as big as possible and as high as possible. Like, when it was that style in Gaelic, there was no depth at all.
Too one-dimensional. It was so slow, and it was tough to watch as well as at stages. Like,
very tough. Like, when you look at it and you see, say, a wing forward, right? Bang, step in with the ball, right? He's just inside the opposition's half, and he's having a look, and there's one inside. What's he doing? Turning around, going back. Like, I'm like, what? Why is he going back? Like, I couldn't function in my mind as to why isn't he breaking lines going forward here? Do you know?
I think with the new rules though, they are promoting like lads, like you're more confident in taking a lad on because if you get past them, there's actually space.
There's loads of room.
Yeah.
Whereas like last year you could beat your man and you've just 2 sweepers coming out onto you, and then you're just turning back and hand passing it.
Yeah.
So it's, and even playing in the full forward line, like you're actually getting ball in now where you're getting a chance to go one on one on a fella, and you know that's what people want to see. Like no one wants to see people hand passing the ball around the 45.
If he slips or you turn him,
yeah,
it's such an advantage then, isn't it? Like, because there's loads of space in there, like you said. You have to take out the arc.
Yeah, like you might only have to beat one or two lads instead of having to beat the 4 or 5 that you would have to beat before.
The goalkeeper's kick out was nearly the most important part of the game, though, is it?
Yeah, that's
to retain it.
That's what a lot of teams are like. If you look at Meath and Kerry there, like that's just a game of winning kickouts, like.
Yeah.
And like Meath are flying, like, they just clobber them on kickouts.
they are big. They're big men.
Yeah,
They're
they are.
huge.
But retaining possession.
Meath are big, are they?
Yeah.
I think that's where. I think that's where basketball and GAA come together. I think that kind of skill of retaining possession from dead balls. Do you know what I mean? So balls that are like played over 30 or 40 yards, like to win them back is massive because you're so deep in the opposition's kind of, do you know what I mean, territory. Like, would you do phases in training where you're working on kickouts and things like that, or?
Oh, you would, yeah. Like you kind of have to, and you have to really do it like kickouts and your attacking structure. 2 main parts you have to work on. Like you work the ball out if you get the ball in your back line.
Yeah,
you'll work it out fine, and it's what you do in the next half of the pitch. Then
is the 30-second rule? Is that gone? That was Brian at the start. Was it from the goalkeeper?
Was it 20 seconds?
20 seconds, was it?
I think
and is that gone now?
I haven't seen it being blown anyway. In
No,
any of the
yeah.
games we're playing in. So, because I know there was one game there was a lot of controversy over it in the league. So I think that could have been one of the tweaks. But like with the kickouts, sure, if you can't win your primary possession, you're at nothing. You know, and it's such a thing now with breaking balls, so it's nearly kind of whoever wants it. You know, if you can't get if your keeper can't get something off quick, like he's just having to go along, and it is that kind of block.
Second ball. If you can't win the first one, you must win the second one, kind of thing. Yeah, it's probably with the rules, and that's probably going to bring you into a kind of a realm where it's way more tactics minded, isn't it? Like, you know, winning kickouts 2 points, like having players on. I can see the likes of overlaps and underlaps coming into GA now. Especially with that scoring arc. So if you're on the attack, you're just outside that arc and there's 2 going to press you and you turn out, like to have someone coming on a loop, say a left footer, coming on the loop off your right shoulder, like that'd be, you know, kind of an underlap. Like, are these things that you talk about, that you look at, as you're kind of saying, right, we may work on to take benefit of the full rule, right?
Yeah, like you have to look at identifying where lads are good at getting their shots off, and lads know themselves. Like you were saying, their left foot is coming around as you're cutting in. Like there's a lot of that for 2-pointers now, though, isn't there? Yeah, you have to be finding them pockets and getting that space to kick them. Like if you're an inside forward now, there's big pressure on you to be putting scores up because like there's so much space in there for you. Like, and if lads are coming through, you need to be getting them shots off. Like
the days of say the diag, you know, for the full forward running out, or the corner forward making a false run, dragging the corner back, and the full forward filling the space. Like, them days are gone, aren't they? Like, them diag balls, them balls in behind. Like, it's more of a kind of a real intricate breakdown of that we have to. There's almost like 60 passes in a phase now, even with the rules now. Like, as you said, you're working it up, you're getting into an area, like, yeah, gotta be patient. Like, do you think it'll ever go back to, because it is trends. Like, will it ever go back to just kick and catch?
I think it could.
There's still opportunities. I see in art, like, you work on slow attacks and you work on fast attacks. Like, if you get the chance to break, I think that's one of the most dangerous times in Gaelic football. Like, if you can get a turnover and just, like you're saying, just move that ball straight away. There's no defence set. You know, you're getting that situation where you're having one-on-ones and you're kind of on the front foot. So, like, if you can get that, that's exactly what you want. But then it's to recognise, say, when a team slows you down, right, let's get set up here, let's get our structure in place, you know, let's not force something that's not on.
So would that be a good defender who can delay counters? Like, I know you say, oh, good defender, turn over the ball, win the ball, but like, are you just important that you can kind of delay? So if I'm defending and we break down going forward and you get on the ball and you're 100 miles an hour, like, if I slow you down, does that help? If I can delay the play?
That's massive, like, yeah.
Is it?
You're wide open for it, like, everyone's committed to attacking. Like, if lads are packing out the full forward line, the far end, like, there's oceans of space there. So you need to get them time to get back, yeah.
Lads, I want to apologise for talking so much shite, to be honest with you. Because I don't know. I'm coming from a completely different space. But I find it interesting. I find it interesting what you put into it. Without sounding disrespectful, I find it interesting of where you're putting it into it in a county like Carlow that hasn't had success in a long time. And to believe that you can develop and progress, I think is half the battle, and there's no doubt about it, and believe anyway. What do you think?
Yeah, look at it's. I love looking at the game, but I like looking at the game no more than what I did because of the rules. I think it's been a positive. I had to change for the upcoming season, lads. I can only wish you the best of luck. I'd be a Blues man. Unfortunately, we're down the dumps at the moment, lads.
Where are the Blues actually?
Junior A, I think.
Are
it is.
they?
Yeah.
Wow.
Junior A, yeah. So, look at. I know I've friends in Palin and friends in Loughlin. So, best of luck to your upcoming season and best of luck, lads.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
Pleasure
thanks
to
a million,
both
lads. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for coming on. Again, I genuinely, when I say I'm sorry, I actually mean it. Because I actually haven't got a clue about you, yeah. And I say I asked some ridiculous questions there. But you know what? 2 year, definitely media trained, to be fair. I say here's what the session was like. Boys, just keep your mouth shut. You were great. I'm only joking. No, I can second that. Listen, best of luck. And your applications obviously is second to none. What you've went through and how you came around and how you, I think, it's a Netflix documentary, as I always say. I think what you've done has been fantastic and fair play to you. Poppa, I have an old shout out. I got a message off our Ballymurphy contact, Mr. Thomas Doyle.
Good man.
They had a 5-a-side competition in memory of Frank Murphy, who recently passed away. The club rented a pitch off him. The grounds are currently in there for the last 10 years. It was a massive tournament. 30 teams entered with 8 on a squad. It was a 5-a-side competition. 5 pitches going from 2 o'clock in the day to 7 o'clock at night. Unbelievable setup, to be fair. That is savage numbers. The crowd and was massive, and a great standard, I'm told. There was €8,000 race for charity.
Brilliant.
And it's going to be an annual thing going forward. The winners on the day were Murder on Zidane's Floor. That's the name of the thing. Chris Gall was on it. Go on, Chrissy. Another bit of silverware for that. It's beautiful. Anyway, thanks for support, lads. I want to say this. This is something we have to say every week. Get out and follow us. Spicy, follow us on social media.
Yeah.
Lying bastards. You know,
I'm not sure.
get out and follow us at the Hosey Podcast. We're on Facebook, we're on
I'll get on it.
Twitter, all that.
Can't bet honesty, can you?
TikTok.
What's the name is again?
Yeah, it's Left Wing Back Podcast, isn't it? No, wrong one.
Are we getting one of the tops then?
These tops?
Yeah.
I have to make 2 appearances for them.
I should have brought down a jersey.
You get your
for
back
me,
when you
but
sack
I
Joe.
apologise.
Get the Blues back up, senior.
But seriously, get out and follow us. Follow the YouTube. Like us, share us, all that crack. Just fucking do it, will you, please? Save the Amplify onto myself and pop out with all the time torturing us. But look, thanks to Amplify and the team, in particular Paddy and James. Thanks for all your work. It's fantastic. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your feedback. This is a completely different one. I cannot wait for the feedback on this episode. There's going to be soccer heads texting me saying, "What are you doing talking about? Yeah." Anyway, look, such is life. Variety's a spice life. And lads, thanks so much for coming on. As always, lads, it's not my podcast.
Not my podcast.
Carlow Soccer's podcast, the Shore podcast. Good luck and God bless.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, lads.
Hope that was
Thanks,
all right,
Mikey.
no?
Yeah,
That's
brilliant.
full
Thanks,
time
Connor.
on this week's episode of the Hosey Podcast. Available on all podcasting platforms. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter/X. Proudly sponsored by Amplify. Got a story to tell? A voice that needs to be heard? Get in touch with us here in Amplify, Carlow Town's professional home for podcasters of all kinds. We can be found on Instagram at Amplify Podcast Studio. Amplify, power up your podcast.